Yeah, message them. Say I'm waiting for them. Let's see who has something to say here. This would be a perfect time to say it to me. All right. We're a movement worldwide. I see everybody online that I know, but also there's going to be people that are going to watch this later or watching it online right now, okay? So we're a movement, and we have our own philosophy. We have our own idea. And the very first thing I want to tell you about our ideas and philosophies is that we're not like everybody else in one way. In one way, we're completely different than everybody else. In a deeper way, we're just like everybody else in that we have a life just like everybody else. We're subjected to the same bullshit that you are, which is whatever you're dealing with on earth during this time, 2024, Christmas coming right up, okay? And so, you know, pressures of money and health and governments and air and water and food and all that other shit. And so in that way, we're similar, almost identical, really. We all want the same things. In the way that we approach on how we respond to those things, we're very different. And that's what makes us a movement worldwide, okay? And one of our first most important philosophies that you should take on is how important, right? How important the man and the woman are to life. The idea that there's a man in life, a male energy, and there's a female. That's vital. Like that is the beginning of the whole thing, right? First, we recognize the importance of creation having a male energy and a female energy, and them being part of one, but at the same time separated. Like this is how it starts, right? We're gonna have to move two things apart like this, that were stuck together, and we have to do this to them. We have to separate them, and we have to hold them in a certain range with each other for a while. And when we do, between these two, the dynamic of them wanting to come together creates something in the middle, and that's electricity. And this electricity flows through communication, even in animals, okay? And so we recognize that communication is the current, or the medium is better, the medium which allows the current to flow. The current comes from your heart. You could measure it on those machines. Boom, 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 boom. That's an electrical current that you're seeing. You could literally see it. Doom, 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 doom. No more current. The guy's dead. Okay? So there's a current in the heart that's that important. When it stops, you're dead. Then there's a current in the brain. They can measure it. And when that stops, you're brain dead. If you're brain dead and heart dead, you're dead. It doesn't matter. You can't do what? You can't function any longer worth anything. Okay? You're a liability. You're basically dying at this point, right? So you take one whole thing like this and you separate it, right? And you pull it apart, and then you hold it there, and in between it, you get a current. That current of electricity. Now, if I'm gonna sell something, let's say I wanna sell my product, right? First thing I need to do is I need to make sure that whoever I'm selling to knows that this that I'm selling is something that makes them whole. And I have to put them in relation to it, and then I have to communicate and allow the current to flow between this. At some point, if you're doing proper communication, the current will pick up speed and energy and quality changes in between it. And if you do it properly, this thing will snap into itself like this. And when it does, man and woman unite as one. Okay? Now when you're here, this thing, just like the yin-yang symbol, which is a symbol for this thing now needs to spin for it to keep having energy, right? The planets spin, the galaxies spin, everything spins around us, okay? So this, first is this, then it's this, then it's this. And it spins. Now, once it spins as one, it now needs to come in contact with other things. Why? Because it's a self-generating, self-evolving system. It continues to seek higher and higher expression of itself. And that's what it seeks, right? you are seeking a higher expression of yourself. So if you go to an exit, you know that you're about to go outside. All right? That's an exit. Whenever you see the word EX, we're talking about something outside. When you give an example, give me an example of something. You have to bring what's something inside you and put it outside so I understand it better. Anytime you hear the word, the suffix or whatever it's called, EX, it's outside, okay? And if I implode, impress, impersonate, those things here. Impossible is here, not over there. Your impossibilities are inside of you, not on the outside of you. What's impossible for you is possible for somebody else. So it's your impossibility, not theirs, your limitations. It should be I am, right? And then X, out. So implosion, okay? Explosion. When it implodes, the energy goes into the center. When it explodes, it goes out. When you meditate, you implode. As you implode, you explode. And then you implode, and you're breathing. Now, through meditation and prayer, your soul is breathing, right? And if you don't meditate, and if you don't pray properly, then you've been just holding your breath for a long time. And it feels like that, right? You're holding your breath for too long. You are seeking an expression, right? You need to learn to express your feelings in a way that they don't harm you or harm the outside unless you want to harm the outside. Then you could explode on the outside also. That's up to you, okay? But the X goes out, EX goes out, all right? And your life is seeking an expression. The seed expresses itself by coming out. The butterfly, the caterpillar expresses its wings. The bird flies by expressing itself. The lion roars and hunts. The wolf hunts and howls. It is expressing itself, okay? Life seeks to express itself. And then it goes in and it finds out more, and then it expresses itself again. And it goes in and it expresses itself again. And if that's what we see everywhere, then God is doing the same thing. The Creator is expressing himself through his creations. And you get to see God by looking at his creations. You get to know an artist by the music he plays. You get to know a dancer by the dance that he does. A painter by the painting he does. And you get to see God through the creations he's made. All his creations are his expressions, okay? When you look on earth, you see that the highest expression of God would have to be mankind, because right now I'm on the computer talking to mankind, expressing myself. This is what's happening. God is seeking to express himself through you, your unique perspective, okay? If you don't know how to express yourself, then you are always trying to impress something on yourself, on others, going around being impossible, impressive, implosive, whatever the fuck you're doing, okay? Both have to happen. If you express too long without going in, you drain everything out. And you have no more chance to go back and create more so you could express yourself. And so we see that from the one cell on earth to mankind to whatever is after us. As God continues to go in to the cell, see that it's not refined enough to survive properly, and expresses it differently. Then another one, then another one, then another one, until mankind arrives and beats everybody. And if there are aliens, and there are, then I'm that guy. AZD, Arise of Our Motherfucking D Bazaar, Spider, IMC Nation, right? Then it's time to come here. Until then, I recognize no higher being than myself here. How's that? Let's try again. I recognize no higher entity than myself on earth, because I could defeat everybody at everything that I want to defeat them at. You see that? There's nobody on earth that has something that I want. I have everything that I want, and I'm teaching it. And I'm looking for the next evolution to arrive in front of me to show me that I'm not God's greatest expression right now, Monday morning at 10 a.m. I know I am. That's what gives me the authority, the right, the privilege to sit here and speak the way I speak, and you still show up. I'm not nice. God is not nice. I'm truthful. God is truthful. It's just the way it is, okay? It's an expression of self. So we're here as our movement is to express the divine. Okay? Now, how can one express the divine when one themselves does not love themselves? Then you will be expressing something, but it's not the divine. Okay? You're expressing the opposite force. There's an opposite force here, right? An evil force, a dark force, a negative energy. And you're doing one or the other. So Jesus, as one of the great teachers, says you can't worship two gods at the same time. Okay? I think he knows what he's talking about also. So you are going to have to make a decision at some point in your life. Okay? Are you evil or are you good? And you would do better just to go evil all the way than to be in the middle of this fucking thing. Okay? I recommend you go good. Why? Because if you're evil, we're going to finish you. That's the way it is. You're not going to win, because if evil wins, there's no game. So we know in the end, God wins always. At the end, God wins the game. He awakes the right people to say the right things and do the right things in the right time and the right place, because it's his game. It's his game. And if you've ever had, let's say you have a cellmate, you're in the jail for some fucking reason. You and him are going to create some kind of game at some point with each other, right? And that's the same thing. The creator loves to play games, right? You look at it. The lion chases the deer runs away, and then the beaver builds a dam and has to protect it. And everywhere you look, he's playing a game with himself. Creation is playing a game with itself all the time, right? And somewhere in there, an idea enters. Idea enters that you are not part of that game somehow, right? Somehow, this tiny little thought process that you have, right, is somehow bigger than this entire fucking observation if you just open your eyes and saw what was happening. Somewhere in there, there's a false idea that you're not part of the game. You're 100% part of the game. You are the game. You're in it, okay? You are a crucial piece to the game, which brings us to another philosophy, that every single living creature of God is essential for the game of God to continue the way he created the game. If we go into the jungle or wherever the fuck the dung beetle is, it's a beetle that makes his house inside poop, right? He follows the elephants and he follows the rhinoceros, and whenever they shit, the buffalo, this beetle goes there and rolls it up and makes a home inside the poop. Now, that beetle in his world will fight and kill another beetle for the shit that you and I would wipe and clean. That's his world. He lives in shit. The way he impresses another dung beetle is by showing her the shit that he literally lives in, how he lives in shit. Okay, good. Now let's get into humans, all right? And you're walking around expressing shit, right? And impressing each other with shit and fighting over shit and killing over shit and all kinds of shit going on, okay? However, you're not a dung beetle at all, okay? There's a dung beetle and it's not you. You're a human being, and that's another thing we have to take a look at. What does it mean to be a human being? What does it mean to be a human being? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever looked at your own fucking makeup or what it is? What does it mean to be human? Have you worked that out for yourself? Maybe you should, because we know what a dung beetle does. I know a beaver builds a dam. I know what they do, but what does a human being do? He's told to go and find out what his purpose in life is and go get a career and make a job and go have a baby. That is not what a human being does. He wasn't designed for that, right? God didn't design you and I to go get a career in college and get married and have it. That's not it. Every man was designed to mate as many women as he possibly could mate with. That's his makeup, physiology. That's also his mindset. That's also his heart, right? We're men. We talk about this every day. We do it every day all around the world. The man, the male Homo sapiens, when God took form as mankind, Homo sapiens, right? When God takes form as a dung beetle, he goes into poo. And that's all that dung beetle knows. When God takes shape as Homo sapiens man, male, right? He's designed to mate with as many women as he possibly could. I say possibly could because there's consequences, right? You have too many kids, you fuck with the wrong person, judgment of society, but that doesn't change what God's plan was when he made a Homo sapiens man. He made it so that the man is designed so that life can continue. He's designed to go mate with as many women as he can, and healthy, sexy, beautiful, fertile ones. That was God's decree. That was his design. Okay? No matter what anybody says about it, 100% of a male body walking around on this earth was designed by the Creator to mate with as many women as possible. That's one of the things that makes our philosophy more unique than anywhere else. Because I'm the founder of this thing, and I'm still here. And I'm telling you, I don't see another man talking like this. Not one anywhere. If they say it, they'll qualify it with some bullshit idea because they don't want to be attacked. I'm sitting waiting to be attacked, and the faggot didn't show up again. And if I do get attacked, as you saw before, you watch what happens. There's nothing to fear when you have the truth. They say the truth is like a lion. No, the truth is the lion. Unleash it. Let's see. Let's see what happens when the truth shows up. So the first part that makes us extremely unique is that we know God created every single man for that purpose. Yesterday, myself and two of my girlfriends spent from 12 o'clock until 7:30 p.m. trying to tow a car and fix it. I'm not exaggerating at all. They spent a little bit earlier time in it. It was myself, Electra, and Hannah, okay? We spent about 7.5 hours trying to fix this thing in the car. It's still not fixed. That's where we're headed again today, to do this thing. Now, check this out. At some point, the AAA guy comes, right? And my girlfriend's in the car. I have her ID. And he's like, well, I need to speak to her. I said, well, you're actually not going to speak to her. That's why I'm here. There's a tall black man, strong guy, kind of thugged out. If you're doing towing, you're probably kind of tough because you're going to have to deal with a lot of people. Don't tow my car, shit like that. So I know their mentality, right? And so he's like, no, I need to talk to her. I said, well, okay, so here's where we are right now. Ready? You're not going to talk to her. So what are we going to do? I said, that's why I'm here. I'm her boyfriend. And we just looked at each other. He said, well, I don't know, man. I gotta talk to her. I said, okay, well, she's in that car. He goes, well, I just need to go verify it's her. I said, look, this is her car. This is her ID. She's the one texting me. Whose other car would this be? Would I be trying to steal this fucking car that's not working right now, bro? Do I look like the fucking guy that tries to steal it? And it starts to get a little aggressive. So then I say to him, I said, listen, this is not against you, okay? But you need to understand why I'm standing here right now. The reason I'm standing here is so that a man doesn't talk to my girlfriend. I say to him, do you have an issue with that? And it pauses. And he goes like this. He goes, well, I don't know how to do this because I'm supposed to verify it's her. I said, okay, I'm going to have her FaceTime then. Is that good? You're going to see her fucking face. Okay, all right then. FaceTime me. FaceTimes, boom. Right? Now, we became good friends at the end of that, you know? But I don't need to deny what I know. Right? I don't need to deny what I know. That's a man. That's a woman. She's attractive. He was made just like me. And him, and him, and him, and him. And he's not my friend, so he's not going to be respectful. All right? I don't need to trust him. Not one bit. Not one bit do I need to trust him. And today, every single woman today who's attractive, who comes across every single man, I give you my life. I give you my word. I give you my family's life. He has a sexual thought about you. Pause. Now, let me tell you what a sexual thought consists of. He imagines putting his fingers in your vagina, coming all over you, putting his dick inside you, having you in all kinds of positions. His dick in your mouth is when I say he has a sexual thought about you. What I mean by that is he's creating images and feelings wanting to have sex with you and fuck you. That's every man. Got it? Every single man, except your husband or boyfriend who you'd want to do that. He's had enough of you. He is engaged in imagining somebody else. And again, I give you my life and my word on that. Okay? If you're with your boyfriend or husband for more than 3 years, that's a good relationship, 3 years. He's no longer having sex with you. He's having sex with his mind. He's imagining other people, while he's having sex with you. Now, you may not care about that, but I think if you could see the images, you would care about that very much, because most of the time, it's your sister, friend, mom, or daughter that he's fucking. It's the closest one. If it's not that, it's a coworker. If it's not that, it's the girl at the gym doing the squats, which might be you again. In another version of it, right? Some other guy doing that to you. The male Homo sapiens was designed by God to think about sex about 100% of the day, because he was designed to do that, right? And if you're a man and you have that, you're actually extremely healthy, right? You're extremely healthy, and God is proud of you for being who he created to be. That's just the way it is, all right? So that makes us unique in that I can say that, I can be that, I am that, and I'm not sorry about it. And for that reason, no man could sit in front of me and say otherwise in a group of men. One-on-one, anybody could fucking argue, right? When two or more of you are present and talk about me, I am there, said Jesus. We need at least 3 people here. Then it becomes obvious who's lying and who's not lying. So, if everything I said to you sounds dirty, it's because you've been lied to. See, a lion doesn't think that it's dirty that another lion wants to fuck his girl. He just knows it's not going to happen and there's going to be a battle here. And the female lioness also knows something, that if she goes over there, she's going to get killed by him, so she better have the right one over there. She better not just go around having a bunch of fucking weak-ass friends, right? If you're a girl and you're my woman and you want to have a guy friend, make sure he's more powerful than me and introduce us so I can defeat him, so I can show you that was a facade. That's how it works. If that was the case, you wouldn't think it's dirty, you would just know it's natural, and you would put barriers and boundaries around yourself when you're interacting with men. This is for this reason, a real father, a true father, not one that you've had, protects the shit out of his daughter. For this reason, the father meets the husband before he even lets him go out on a date with her. That's how it's done properly. He's interested in her, he comes to the house, and if he's a real motherfucking man, he either has sons or he has friends. And he meets that man with his friends. And he says, so you want to date my daughter? Let's talk. And then he says, you're not meeting my daughter. And he goes to her and he says, no, that's trash. And she says, yes, Dad, thank you for protecting me. She doesn't say, no, I can do what I want because I'm going to school and I'm independent. He just says, thank you for protecting me against being raped, molested, and thrown away with a fucking kid like 90% of the women are right now. Okay? That's what a father is. He protects his daughter, and he protects his wife, and he protects his house. Okay? And in order for him to protect all of those things, he's got to be a motherfucker, because it's called protecting those things. And if you thought a lion was dangerous, it's not as dangerous as mankind. Because if a lion was more dangerous, we wouldn't be sitting here. He would have defeated all of us. Any of us can grab our guns and go into the safari, and every lion would run when they heard the gunshots. We'd announce ourselves, he can roar, we can shoot. We could honk. We could just run them over, actually. We don't need to get out of the car. We're not stupid, right? We just get in 5, 6 cars, get some big tires, and just monster truck all over the fucking city, right? I don't care what the fuck you are. It doesn't matter. If you're a hippo, we'll get a tank. Eventually, you'll see that intelligence is what God gave us, so we could defeat everybody. Now, ready? Are you using your intelligence to defeat the demons of your life? 10:26. I don't want to talk much more. We're going to go from here to the next class. Now, this morning, just so you know, yesterday, somewhere in our lives, somebody was talking shit about me. He was invited to come and speak. He didn't show up. He got messaged. He didn't show up. Coward. We win again. This is INC Nation. Be the best. Fuck the rest. See you in the next class.